for hosting your event in my new space. Welcome. It's been really fun to build. I did it with a buddy of mine who goes by Dewey Vox. He just joined Twitter, but I saw this as a fun way for us to kind of like because we'd been building stuff in Minecraft for years, and I was like, "This is you gotta just come build something with me." And so it's been really fun to build this. And yeah, so I'm here to talk about my Nifty Gateway drop that happens tonight at 6:30. It's called the Subliminal Collection, and it'll be a series of 7 pieces that are all editions of 10. 5 will be ranked auction that will last for 2 hours, and 2 will be collector drawings. And the way those will work is if you own any pieces from my first collection on Nifty Gateway, you can enter to win a piece based on that collection. And if you own any of the Flickr Fusion, as well as the Ikaitsa collaboration I did in the Flickr Fusion style, those qualify for the drawing on the other piece. And so all these pieces kind of wrap around this idea of reflecting on the past year. I think I talked about it like a year ago. I wrote an article for Super Rare about like sparking creativity, and it was like, how do you mine creativity, and kind of comes back to self-reflection, building on what you've learned and using it to learn new things. And so I kind of took that to heart with this, and I wanted to try new styles, but also reference old pieces and kind of go back to styles I enjoyed playing around with that I haven't really done in a while, and kind of bringing them into this new space. And so these pieces all revolve around the silhouette of a head and then building stuff within that. So there's pieces that reference my Nimbuds, which were my art blocks collection. There's pieces that reference some of my early super rare work, and it's just been really fun to kind of like tie it all together, look back on what I've done over the past like year and a half or whatever. I joined like February 2020. um, Look at all that stuff, kind of see how it looks as a collection, and that kind of also ties into this building, which is like I've done so many random things in the past year and a half. I mean, the space just moves at such a rapid pace that you have to occasionally like look back and be like, oh yeah, I did this and this and this, and you can start to piece the strings together and see where the creativity and inspiration kind of tied into each other. And I think you can that's even more apparent if you look at the Cloudy collection piece, because the Cloudy collection piece was like an evolution of an early super rare piece where I was kind of dangling with from wires. I brought it into this cloud world, and then that eventually inspired the Nimbud Art Blocks project. And so this piece in the collection takes that earlier piece and then adds the kind of Nimbud style to it, so it kind of brings it all back together. And so yeah, so I think am I forgetting anything? I should thank Matthew, who's been a wonderful producer on not just this drop but the previous drop, and also just a huge supporter and friend in the space from the very beginning.
No, I think you nailed everything. I dropped the links to your collections a couple times. I'll do it again. Everyone should definitely check them out. It will open up the ranked auctions and the collector drawings at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So about like a little less than 3 hours from now. But if Show has anyone else in the crowd has any questions, Show, relay them to Brian.
Hey, Brian, welcome back.
Hey, Show, good to hear you.
Likewise. Brian, I got a bone to pick with you. Why didn't you tell me and everyone else here about Fidenzas and Punks mooning when you were here last time? You're all greened up in the Punk server and you're holding out. Like, were you trying to communicate?
I don't have a Punk. I have a Meebit, which is you can see it in the corner. That's the closest I've gotten to a Punk so far. So I feel like I missed my window. They were like 20 Ethereum a couple months ago, and that was probably the last chance I had at it. And yeah, Fidenzas. I mean, me and Matthew can both share our sob stories of letting those go too early. But yeah, I mean, it's Fidenzas really took art blocks to a whole nother level in a way that I don't think any of us could have anticipated. But it really, it connected with people outside of the space in a way that really kind of elevated all of the NFT space.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, since you have a Meebit, you're still tapped in. That's the thing, Like, I feel like were you trying to communicate it to us subliminally?
I see what
Speaking
you're
of
saying. I see what you're saying. Um,
speaking of subliminal, sorry to cut you off. Speaking of subliminal, what was the inspiration behind your new collection being released today?
um, well, the inspiration kind of came from it started with this idea of, I think, the piece bulb. If you look at that, I was playing around with that style and this idea of putting art within cutout shapes. And the original concept was going to be like a cloud with like all this color light going into it, and then kind of showing it back and forth with Matthew. He kind of inspired this idea of putting it into a figure or putting it in with myself, and that kind of led to this whole idea of what else can I build out of a single shape. Because I think originally I went to it thinking about how can I take this style and apply it to a bunch of shapes, and then it kind of reversed and went the other way with like I have the shape, now I can just play with as many styles as I want and I'm not like repeating myself in that way, which has been kind of like the thesis of my art all along, which is like I don't want to get stuck doing the same style over and over, and so I tend to work within my color scheme in order to allow me to try a bunch of different styles and not feel like I'm like breaking my brand, I guess is a way of saying it, But that's kind of like, the early on and before I got into NFT space, the gallery world, they're very much in the world of, hey, if we invite you to a show, we want you to do the style that you're famous for. And if you do anything else, we're probably not going to bring you back because that's what we expect. And I always thought that was like very creatively stunting.
Yeah, that's admirable. We also have a question from Hidden Forces. He would like to know, how does Brian Brinkman unwind after a long day making art?
Yeah, I would say almost all the time it's playing Xbox. And more often than not, it's usually playing some sort of online sports game against random people online. Sometimes cooperatively, but I love to play like uh, Madden KO or FIFA or you know Rocket League. There's something about that exerting your energy, but also doing it with other real people somewhere in the world. It's like really awesome.
Got a question here from Marty McFly. Do you play FIFA Ultimate Team?
I don't. I used to play Madden Ultimate Team, but mostly I just play the FIFA seasons where you just play that because I don't know enough about soccer. I love the game of soccer, but I don't know anything about players or like strategy for like um, formations and stuff like that. So I, I'm very basic when it comes to FIFA.
Got it. Cool. If anyone else has any questions for Brian, ping them here. Otherwise, before we take the group shot, for everyone that's not in CryptoVoxels, everyone just throw the links in there. Hop in here
Yeah,
because Brian's about to take us on a tour of his new crib.
yeah,
We're on
or
the roof right now, but yeah, we'll head down, I'm guessing.
yeah. Everyone should sign or come over to the bar and claim their free souvenir drink, and then once I get that list compiled, I'll manually send everybody this wearable. That was also designed by my buddy, and it really complements the atmosphere here. It's so awesome to see all these people in the space because we've been working on it for a couple weeks now, and it's just been so empty. And now I get to actually see it like serving its purpose. It's awesome. But yeah, should I begin the tour?
Um,
Let me just barge in real quick, man. We while you're signing things, there's also a guest list on the front of the stage,
Oh,
and our WIP crew member Musashi has actually got some invisible pets that we'll be distributing on behalf of the WIP as well. So sign the thing at the bar, get the thing in front of the stage, and then do we want to, while we're doing that, do we want to take a sort of maybe a group shot over at the
oh
bar
yeah,
before we go on the tour or something
that'd be
like
awesome.
that? All right,
I'm
so why don't we
down.
do that? Pile
There's
on
a
over the bar. We
photographer
got
too.
is
Paradox
fake
photographer.
Paradox in the house? Is
calling
fake
fake
Paradox
paradox. Is fake
calling
paradox
fake
here? Oh, fake
blasphemy?
paradox
We
rubbed
need
us too.
backup fake Paradox? We've never unleashed backup fake Paradox. Who is backup fake Paradox?
I believe
Easy.
it's probably Dragon 8 or
Oh,
Easy.
one of them probably.
Hold on, Dragonate. Can you pull a fake Paradox accent?
Who will be backup fake Paradox?
Well,
Alright, hello.
oh no,
Yeah.
that was
This
Australian.
is
Damn.
Fake Paradox here. How about
Two of
we
'em.
all just head over
You
to
got
the
two.
bar and everyone stand in front of it and we'll take some pictures, why don't we? So everyone go stand in front of
Drop
the
the
bar?
link in the chat right here. If anyone's lost, just click the link and your naked body will appear in front of us, unless you're already wearing something. But then
Oh,
you'll be in the
little
picture.
skull head.
Yes, please. Alright, perfect. Now let's get some emojis in here and maybe some animations. Do what you feel like, and I'll just pan back and forth. The anonymous person standing in front, floating in front actually, is the cameraman here, so everybody smile.
Oh, did I break the roof?
Perfect.
What did I do?
All done. So I'll hand that back over to you, Matthew, and we'll continue.
Paradox out. Cool. So, Rizzo, anything else we needed to do? Otherwise, I think we corralled everyone into a single location for Brinkman or Brian to take us around. But any other last minute announcements before we go on the tour?
I think we're pretty much good to roll, man. Carolina Duh made an incredible PO-op, so click the event links above in the chat box and claim your PO-op. We'll get ready to go on the tour. I forgot to mention it earlier, but just want to say a big shout out to the crew. There's a whole bunch of people who make this happen. Easy, Paradox, Trippy Show, Timmy Tubador, Guts Berserk GB, Alex Greb, Foxy Yoga, Carolina Duh, Sandy the Meow Meow, aka Fake Paradox number 1, Dragonate, aka Fake Paradox number 2, Trizlet, and Musashi. Thank you all. The PO-up won't come out. You can always circle back for the PO-up. It'll be out there for a minute. With that, hop in world, and I lost the link, but I'm sure we can get it. And we'll pass the mic over to Brian. He can show us around the place.
All right. Well, let's start filtering down the steps. This is funny because I built this thinking people would enter from the floor, and now we're going to do the whole thing in reverse, which is great. So if you're able to make your way down to the second floor, don't know if anybody's able to hear me or.
Where are the stairs? Guide, folks.
They're sorry. They're right by the cloud with the color lines, and it's a little dark. I see the issue.
Sneaky stairs.
Yeah. I'll have to think about adding more like arrows for people going the reverse way. So so the first two rooms are kind of dedicated to my previous Nifty Gateway drop and kind of the other collaborations I've done since then. Most of these look like still images, but if you click them, they'll play as animations and you get to see in the motion. And so it's been fun to kind of like take the style that I developed earlier this summer and kind of apply it to different artists' work, whether it's Crypto Cubes did a drop, which is up here on the right. Um, Fluffy Goodness, which is Adam Tastic's project, or Dario De Siena's Minds project, and also Ikaitsa. It's been great to kind of like help bring their ideas into this room that I've built for the Flickr Fusion collection. And so all these pieces were kind of built on this idea of like onion skin animations, neon lights, kind of showing the full motion guides while also like playing with fun shapes and colors and stuff, which all ties back into what I was saying earlier about like how do I bring my colors into new worlds. And so then then we can go into thanks Easy. That was a collaboration with Roses, Zach from Super Rare. That was really awesome because his collection is really special. If you come to the next room, which is kind of a big bright room, you can see my first Nifty Gateway collection, which was the Cloudy collection, as well as some other pieces I've made for Super Rare and Versus on Flow, and a little diorama on the wall of one of my early Super Rare pieces, which is kind of like a fun little Easter egg. And yeah, the two pieces in the middle here, the flower and kind of the beach scene, those were collaborations I did with Karin 4D, where he took my artwork and he fed them into his kind of GAN algorithm, spit out a whole bunch of different random pieces, and then I looked at them and I go, well, that one kind of looks like a flower, and so then I built a piece around that, and the one I thought looked like a beach, and I built a piece around that. So that was a fun like way of doing a collaboration that like started with me, went through an algorithm in a computer, and then came back around, and I got to put my own touch on it. So I kind of liked that it was like a weird sandwich of creativity. And then yeah, we'll take you down to the bottom floor, which has mostly a collection of my super rare pieces off the start of it, including on the first floor, if you see this one that has the colorful smoke pieces, it's called Explode, and that one's going to be going on auction at Sotheby's in 4 days. I think it goes on auction. It runs for 3 days, and so that's that's pretty. I'm still kind of wrapping my mind around that idea. It's such a cool thing. But that was my first NFT I minted on Super Rare back in February 2020. So it's been what 18 months, and it's it's somehow in Sotheby's. It's incredible. What a world. Um, and then yeah, if you come to the next room, you'll see a collection of uh, all 400 of the Nimbuds on a wall, even though they're kind of low res. You see a couple collaborations that artists have made based on the Nimbuds, Waxbones, Petio, two amazing artists. Um, and then as you enter the very front of it, you'll see all 7 pieces that are part of my Nifty Gateway collection that are going to be going up on auction and drawing in what 3.5 hours. So if you click on any of those, you can see them animate, kind of see them in higher res, and get a good sense of how they work. And yeah, they're all pretty fun. You can see I was playing around with kind of these clusters, bringing my Nimbuds into this one where they're all blinking, playing around with wires as a way to create a face, which kind of breaks apart what I've been doing earlier, where everyone's kind of hanging by wires. Oh, 2.5 hours. Sorry. Oof, oof. People are gonna miss it. Um, I gotta get better at math. Yeah, and then there's a little guest book here, which you've already all signed. The one upstairs for the free drink, so you don't necessarily have to sign it, but feel free to sign it. That's a cool new thing they've added into crypto boxes that I've never really played with, which is they have a built-in guest book now. And yeah, does anybody have any questions? If you go to the outside, you can see there's this kind of animated grid display that you can only look at. It's kind of like a lenticular, where you can only see it if you're looking at it kind of straight on. Otherwise, it becomes this kind of dark void, which I think is pretty fun.
Oh, that is dope. I never would have noticed that. That's so cool. How did you get that effect?
There's a GIF playing on a layer behind all these black bars, which are voxels that I imported.
Wow. That's so smart.
Wait, help me out. I'm not seeing whatever I'm supposed to be seeing.
You see where I am, Rizzle? On the side of the building? Come outside, first of all.
I'll post in the chat.
Where are you, Rizzle? Okay, you're right here.
Yeah, I'm next to
Okay.
you. What is,
Follow me. Look at the building and just pan left.
whoa. Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, wow.
So it's been fun to kind of like, because some of my previous builds were more like built around specific pieces and making like the cloudy one's very cloud centric, and this one I was like trying to create something that felt a little more modern art museum-y, but also still having a lot of like fun touches. Feel free to steal it, Brookhawk. You have one of the best builds in all of Crypto Voxels. I'm always amazed like that. The fact that you have like a secret basement in yours, so cool.
Who has a secret basement?
Brookhawk, he's got an
Oh
awesome,
yeah.
awesome build.
I do have to say that this is one of the maybe one of the top
His
three.
Rizzle's place. Sorry.
Don't slight Rizzle, dude.
Brookhawk built my place. It was a props to Brookhawk.
Yeah. No, it's been. I mean, this area is. It's always fun, like kind of starting a build in a brand new island, because then you get to see all these other places like sprouting up right next to you while you're doing it. It's really fun to like kind of see the islands come together in real time. Dragonate, you found the alley. I haven't figured out what to do with the alley yet. I was thinking about putting like a hidden message or like a QR code back there or something. But yeah, no, I'm so psyched that we're able to kind of christen this building with this WIP meetup today. It's so awesome. I mean, it was a marathon to get it together, but it's totally worth it.
Every one of your builds that you've hosted the WIP at has just been incredible. Again, just honored to be able to keep that tradition alive of new Brinkman build. Well, new WIP hosted at that build.
Yeah. And a
Um,
free wearable to go with the drop, which it's
Yeah.
as you can see, my cloudy body that was given away to people that came to the Nifty Gateway build a year ago. So it's all fun to like revisit the fun things.
So cool, man. Well, thank you so much for hosting us and getting everything together in time. Really stoked for your drop a little bit at 6:30 p.m. Already transferring the funds into Nifty Gateway so I can bid on some of these ranked auctions. Love those pieces.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the help on it and for having me on this. It was awesome to see everybody.
Awesome. Well, if you're all done, I'm good. I think Rizzle's all done as well. So if that's the case, and fake Paradox took the pictures of all of us on the roof, I think it's time for Show to take over with the afties.
All right.
Oh man, that build is so crazy. Like Brian is always like raising the bar. And he's just so chill. He sounds so relaxed, but he's playing Rocket League and FIFA, like he's cursing out teenagers playing FIFA, and doing builds at the same time. Like, who is this dude? Who is this guy? Hey, y'all, how's my audio? My 2x2 or my 5x5?
Titty-fi.
All right, y'all. If you're brand new to what's happening, what's going to happen, please turn down your headphones and your speakers or anything else that's emitting sound. Just trust me. Turn it down just a little bit, please. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. They turned off the heat in my apartment. It's cold. So now I need to yell and scream to keep myself warm. I need to yell and scream to keep myself warm. It's so cold in the space. It's so cold in the crypto space. It's so cold. Why are you doing this to me? I need to yell and scream so I can turn into a red dwarf or some kind of planet in space. With fam, anyone else who is brand new to crypto that is listening to this now, we have a phrase here that is sort of like a mantra. Not your keys, not your coin. It's one of the many phrases or memetics that serve as rallying cries for everyone in the crypto space. It means that what's yours is yours because only you have access to it and no one else. So now that I've refreshed your memory or have given you some new insight, if you're new here, I want you all to think about what I'm about to say. 1.1 million new people will be entering the space. And what's their first stop? Coinbase. Coinbase is a very popular centralized exchange. They provide you with a wallet on their website. It's a wallet that you can only use on their website. Think of it as a joint bank account. You can put funds into it, but the bank, or in this case, Coinbase itself, can take the funds out. Or the entire site can go down and you will lose access to your funds, or in particular, that wallet. Now, let's say you've been approved to be one of the first of 1.1 million people literally on the whitelist to use their new NFT marketplace. Oh my God. You use your funds on a wallet that is like a joint bank account and purchase NFTs that are on a joint bank account where you and the bank are the joint owners of the account, but the bank really has full control. And get this, you lose access to your NFTs that you just bought by using your joint bank account due to the entire website being hacked and your wallets are drained of coins, tokens, and NFTs, right? NFTs are a token also, by the way, because code, because Solidity. Then is it the bank's fault? This is the real question. You use this platform, this website. You know nothing about crypto. Is it the bank's fault that you lost the money, that you lost the NFTs? Is it Coinbase's fault that Coinbase gets hacked and starts turning up a 504 error or a 404 error and the DNS is not resolving, right? Just because you don't know. If you choose to give up your power and use Coinbase, is it Coinbase's fault? If a centralized exchange has a very recent track record of being hacked and losing people's money, and an even more recent track record of having poor customer service in order to assist these new people who don't even know that they are giving up their power, who don't know shit about crypto, they're relying on you to teach them. You're their first stop because 1.1 million fucking people on a whitelist are trying to get on this new hot thing. Is it Coinbase's fault that they lose all their shit because you don't know that? Is it Coinbase's fault that new people, right, can go and learn quickly using an alternative? There's a safe alternative. Is it Coinbase's fault that these new people don't know that they don't own their own wallets or anything else that they're buying on a centralized exchange that's creating a centralized NFT marketplace? Is it Coinbase's fault that these new people don't know not your keys, that they don't know what not your keys, not your coin means? I'm flustered. I'm speaking in a syncopated manner in order to hypnotize you and also show that maybe you're not listening to what I'm saying, right? If these people don't know that not your keys, not your coin means that it could be a centralized marketplace, right? Owning your wallet, a bank account owns your wallet. You don't own your own shit. Is it the bank's fault? Is it Coinbase's fault? Because truthfully, if customer service doesn't, if the customer service is shitty and you don't know anything, you're relying on them to teach you, or if you're relying on me while I'm stuttering and speaking in this way on purpose to mess with your mind, right? Just like what Coinbase is doing to 1.1 million people, right? It's a shit show. Just like what I just said was a shit show. Welcome to the Acties, y'all. I'm your own show. You already know. If you don't know, you will know by the end of this awesome thing that we're doing where we talk about our opinions and we act as smart even though we're stupid as possible in order to get our points across, and we speak in ways that make zero fucking sense in order to sound like we know what the fuck we're talking about. It's very simple. You heard three awesome presenters. They presented awesome things. They did great things. If you were listening, talk about what you just heard, phrase it in the form of a hot take or an opinion, and basically speak like I did. Stutter your way through it. Right? Speak in a way that does not make sense, even though the syncopated way may sound like you know what the fuck you're talking about. Let's do it. Let's get to the first presenter, y'all. Shout out to Hool and George. Hool and George. I was giggling when I saw the name. I was like, man, this sounds like a coffee shop in Soho. I'm trying to go to Hool and George and spend $25 on a double frappuccino with some nutmeg and cinnamon spice sprinkled on top. Here's my hot take, right? On Ulta, digital immersive art is what I need in real life. Because at the coffee shop in real life, ugly people are ugly. So I need to draw on them. I need to draw on ugly people's faces in the coffee shop. And if I have immersive art, I can express myself on people's faces. Thoughts? Thoughts?
If you draw on my hand, if you draw on my face, I'll kick your hand.
Not if you're passed out.
Oh yeah, want a bet?
Have you been to a coffee shop before? Have you smelled the aromas? Have you felt immersed or in the waft of coffee beans being roasted over an open flame?
When I roast my own coffee, oh yeah, damn right.
That was too quiet for the afties, people. Get it together.
When I roast my own coffee, damn right.
You don't go to coffee shops, you just roast your own coffee? You're that empowered?
Yeah.
You know, there's a coffee shop in New York City, brought to you by Coinbase. What they do is they stir the coffee right out of the espresso machine. Brian Armstrong himself, right? What he does is he roasts it by pouring it over his bald head, and it slowly drips off of his pointed nose into the cup. It's kind of like Salt Bae, but make it coffee. And then when he serves it to you, he leaves his finger inside of the coffee cup. You know why? Because it's not just your coffee cup, it's everyone's coffee cup. He immerses his finger inside of your coffee cup. Thoughts?
I spit
Not
on it.
only that, they held my coffee behind the bar. I could only get one sip at a time, like when they decided I could have a sip. Sucks. Not your keys to your kingdom.
Sucks. Easy is enabling me. Marty McFly, unmute your microphone, unzipper your fly, and unmute your microphone and say that rhetorically. Marty McFly. Coming in November for fall, McDonald's is going to be releasing the Marty McFly burger, not to be confused with the McRib. Basically, it's his sausage in between two cheeks. Marty McFly, unmute your microphone. Marty. Oh, no permission. Where are you? Okay, you're on server muted. Please repeat that and phrase that in the form of a question. I mean, no, you know what I mean. God damn it, I'm confused. I've been drinking coffee off of Brian Armstrong's.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, as long as his finger's clean, I guess he can put it in my coffee. Is what I was saying. But no, I'm totally for decentralization. I'm a big proponent of that. Big fan of the funks, but I'm having a hard time getting the bear case on the Coinbase thing because I just feel like it's going to be a bunch of normies injecting ETH into my wallet eventually. So I'm not sure how it's a bad thing. See it as a good thing because if I use it and it's better than OpenSea and I can score my shit, then I'll just send it to my MetaMask and not think twice and say, thank you, Coinbase, for some extra ETH. So that's kind of my perspective.
And what if they don't let you send it to your MetaMask? What if the requirement is that it has to stay on Coinbase?
Oh, that's a good point, Drago Nate, but I would find that really hard to believe. I think it would fail instantly, and then it would just be left with normies on Coinbase and everybody else back to OpenSea. But I hadn't thought about that, honestly. I would assume they would let you send it out like you can send your ETH out and everything else.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if they made it that way, at least for the first little while. But, yeah, it wouldn't go well for them if they kept it that way for good.
Considering their track record of having terrible customer service, of taking forever to process withdrawals, right? And then eventually trying to rectify that, but then still sometimes kind of not rectifying that. I believe that it's going to be a while before they allow people to withdraw NFTs to their own personal wallets by having the metrics, the logistics, the all the sticks, right? Pointing upward in regards to, oh, we have this amount of people holding this, and this. That looks good for publicity, as opposed to people, oh, immediately withdrawing and having their own wallets. Again, this is a centralized, what the fuck is Coinbase again? A centralized what? God damn it, I'm confused. They're doing marketplaces now?
Exchange and marketplace. I think they will try as hard as they can through whatever means to keep your NFTs in their marketplace. Maybe there'll be some kind of, bigger fee to transfer out, and it probably will be gated at the beginning. I just don't like the idea of the NFT marketplace being run by a central entity that can turn off your account, or a law comes out, or the possibility of a law passing and they just put the brakes on everything and nope, you can't get your NFTs out. And if there was money tied to your NFT sales, that's in question now too. So I just not real comfortable. I didn't sign up. I
poop on it.
Marty McFly gave us a very good example of what many people who are currently in the space, who are already knowledgeable, right? Who aren't normies, are crossing their fingers and hoping for, right? That all of this influx of new people spending ETH without realizing, without having gone through, they haven't experienced what we experienced, right? That it'll lead to many bags being full just off of ignorance, without realizing that there's friction with Coinbase itself, like Easy just highlighted. There is inherent friction. The terrible customer service for these people who barely know how to even make a transaction, it's going to take them a long time. It's going to take a long time for that ETH to find its way into the space and inflate a lot of these bags. But my point, just to piggyback off of this, but hey, I told you, right? We have to stutter and speak in a syncopated manner in order to sound intelligent. My point, though, also is that I'm looking to empower people, and this is their first stop. Their first stop is hell itself. Your first stop in 2004, right, wasn't Friendster, it wasn't MySpace, it was Facebook. Coinbase is the new Facebook.
Ew.
Well, they will have a Coinbase earn a 50-second video that explains everything you need to know about NFTs. Duh, I mean.
And then you'll earn an NFT for it.
Yeah, that's like Zappify.
Yeah. So, get a couple free NFTs, move them to your wallet, and then when they try and make you KYC to get more NFTs, you give them the finger, you spit in their face, and you say bye-bye.
That's my experience at coffee shops. Who's that speaking? Who's speaking right now?
That was Brinkman. Do you think people on Coinbase will pay like 2 times more for NFTs because they don't look at other marketplaces to see what the going rate is on things?
Brian Brinkman, hold on one second, Brian. Like you've been playing FIFA and Rocket League. You've been building out that awesome, incredible thing on the wall that, like, when you pass by it, it looks like it's flowing ripples of whatever's going. Like, you build all this crazy ass shit, and you're asking me a question about what you think. Phrase it rhetorically. What are you saying? I don't know what you're thinking. You tell me. Is that what you think?
I think that, well, I'm just saying Coinbase is where we can dump the Yetis because they're not going to know that they're not worth anything.
I don't believe that we'll be able to transfer things in and out so easily onto that platform. I believe that it's going to take a long time, or there's going to be friction somehow, some way. And I don't normally agree, but Easy made a good point. They're gonna tax you on the in or the out, one or the other. Just like at a coffee shop where it's like, oh, did you leave a tip? Did you smile at the fucking barista on the way in or out? Same shit. Did you smile at Brian Armstrong?
No.
No. Moving on. Next subject. Next subject. We had Chuck from Blockchain shilling Rare without shilling it, but shilling it anyway. No, shout out to him. Here's my hot take. Centralized crypto art marketplaces creating DAOs around their token feels like front running or double dipping into their collector base. It's less about the crypto artists and more about the coolness of the marketplaces itself now. Last week, I was like, dude, that we're creating things centered around the dopeness of a collector as opposed to the art that they're collecting and the artist. Thoughts?
Okay. I mean, I guess I would say that my take on Super Rare is that it's the closest thing to a traditional Gagosian, David Zwirner type gallery and NFTs. Like, there's no doubt about that. It's never going to be as cutting edge, as decentralized as a lot of the other projects. But, you know, it does occupy the sort of important space that I think some people are thinking Coinbase will occupy. But for me, Super Rare is better suited to occupy between the really cutting edge stuff and collectors who are just finding their way into the market for the first time. And I think there is a space for a sort of like the grand dame, you know, who maybe doesn't have the most cutting edge work, but it's a place you can always go for solid art where you don't have to wonder about whether it's stolen, you know, where you know the artists have a stake in the platform, where you know the artists are going to get paid on resale, are going to get paid resale royalties. So I mean, I'm not a decentralization maximalist, but I hear your concerns. With that said, I think they run a pretty clean operation.
Chuck, I am the loudest and dumbest voice in the room right now. I am wrong and strong, and I didn't hear anything that you said because I was too busy looking on dictionary.com for the definition of, I believe you said Dr. Kevorkian and Grand Dame. I was trying to spell it out and I can't. What?
Sorry. Just read my tweets.
I just told you I'm the loudest and dumbest voice. I don't know how to read tweets. What are you saying right now?
Well, just call me.
Who calls people now, dude? We text. What is going on in the crypto space? What is happening?
I told you. I'm not an NFT OG. I'm not even an NFT middle-aged G. Like, you know, I'm new to the space, and I think it's exciting what's happening here. I understand that everybody gets sensitive when there are sort of new people entering who didn't go through the roughest patches, who don't have the history. And that's why, well, earlier somebody talked about me taking like a leadership role at Rare. That's not how I see it. I see it as trying to advocate the best thing for the Rare artists and collectors, you know. And yeah, I mean, I'm an investor in Rare.
and I kind of had to shill rare because the topic I was asked to speak about was the staking proposal. But I think that super rare is doing really great things for crypto artists, and I think that a lot of people have been able to make money on their art for the first time because of them. So, I think they're a net positive presence.
Chuck, many of us are OGs in the crypto space. Many of us do wish that we were NFTs. If I were an NFT, I would be designed by Brian Brinkman. I would be sensitive to the touch, and I would have rough patches, just like you said, because that's all I heard that you said. Yeah, we create a coin around it. I'd be fractionalized. Rough patches brought to you by Brian Brinkman's psychoses. Next subject. Speaking of Brian Brinkman, here's my hot take. I feel like crypto artists need someone to talk to. I was inspired by the subliminal imaging. He's trying to say all that shit goes on in his mind. The current climate must be incredibly jarring for many. It was hard enough for many talented individuals to get attention before all the hype, and now the entire space is saturated with so much noise, aside from me yelling all the fucking time, and terrible PFP projects that people are getting lost altogether. They're getting lost. Crypto artists are being lost in all the noise. When is the PFP boom gonna end? When are roadmaps gonna end? Thoughts?
They'll end when the artists, I guess, decide to join them for some reason.
Interesting.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Drago Nate. 3 days ago, in regards to the biggest NFT PFP avatar project of all time, being on Forbes, being all over the place. I'm not talking about punks. I'm not talking about super yetis. I'm not talking about any of these. Mechaverse, right? Mechaverse was trending because an artist who was tapped on the shoulder to design images was worried that he wasn't going to get paid. There were numerous red flags in the initial conversation. So when he did design assets for Mechaverse, each time before he released assets to the client, right? This is doubling back to, I believe, who's talking about having clients? That was the artist who came on to the pre-show for Trippy Yogi. Shout out Trippy Yogi. Having clients, right? So this person was worried before he released the assets. He wanted to make sure that he would be paid at each point. He did it the old Fiverr way. He was like, "Hey, okay, this is a point right here. Before I give this to you, are you gonna pay me?" And they were like, "Oh no, we don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna give it to you until you confirm." Okay, then he gave some assets, but not all. Each time he met a point where he needed to give up assets, he always was asking them for payment. They went on a tirade where they eventually paid him, but then they started complaining that it was annoying that he was asking for payment for creating assets. But yet they make millions. If you don't believe me, I'm not just throwing numbers out of my ass. You could check on Decrypt, right? I believe 10 million or something like that. They made millions and then had the nerve to not give this artist who created these assets, right? One of these NFTs as a thank you, right? Even though they verbally said it, but thoughts get with them. An artist gets with them and then gets screwed over. Maybe they need Chuck. Maybe they need Chuck from blockchain to defend them. Thoughts?
I say screw them. Pay the fucking artist.
Pay the artist or get a spanking.
Pay the artist or GTFO.
Yeah, I mean, there are organizations like Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts that provide pro bono representation. If they need that, they should look into that.
But lawyers who are well versed on the crypto space are very hard to come by.
Yeah, there are only about 5 of those.
Yeah.
Could you provide us with some kind of source source? What am I talking about? What am I saying? You know what I'm saying? God damn it! Imagine if I was a lawyer, I'd be like, Your Honor, do you understand what the fuck I'm saying? Let the motherfucker go. Thoughts?
Yeah. So a resource that has a list of lawyers who are conversing with crypto. Let me look into that. I won't be able to provide it right now, but there's a Discord group for lawyers who are interested in crypto that's different from understanding it. And understanding crypto doesn't necessarily mean understanding the NFT space. There are probably only 1 or 2 that really understand everything that the NFT OGs have been through, and I'm not one of those. So that may or may not be necessary in this guy's case, but let me try to put together a list.
Yeah, I mean, that would be beneficial because honestly speaking, I've said this a number of times. A lawyer would have to know this shit better than me in order to represent me. You would also have to know solidity as well. If you're gonna argue these things, you need to know this shit better than me. And I'm the dumbest, loudest voice right now. The bar is low, unlike Brian Brinkman building shit out. The bar is low subliminally and figuratively and all the literalies. You have to know shit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're adding coding into it, obviously that narrows the group down even further. But litigators are pretty good at learning what they need to learn quickly, and if they need to understand the coding aspect, they would bring somebody in for that. At least a competent lawyer would.
Yeah, as an artist in this space, I would say in the past few months, I've seen more people using NDAs, but I haven't seen any artists making contracts, and that's something I think as an education point that needs to be made. Is that if you're going to do freelance work or all this stuff, you really got to get it in writing.
We need to do away with paperwork and put it all on the blockchain. I want it to be trustless litigation. I need a Discord bot to argue in court on my behalf because these bots are kicking our ass all the time. Who else but a crypto Discord fucking bot screaming Your Honor in all caps? Spamming the fucking plaintiff with emojis and shit. I need Vitalik Buterin. I need Gavin Wood because fucking Polkadot is mooning right now. I need Gavin Wood, Dr. Gavin Wood to fucking come up with some shit that helps me protect myself because if Mechaverse is asking me to do shit, they better fucking give me shit. Shit. Thoughts? Have you been stupefied? I hope so. That was the whole point.
Them bots got me.
This is Marty McFly. So just on the whole idea thing, NDAs and stuff like that. One time my buddy suggested to me, I had an idea. It's not that good, but he said, well, why don't you just put it on type it up and then mint it as a NFT. And so then it'll at least be on the blockchain with when you had that idea. So I just thought that was kind of a cool idea. I didn't do it, of course, because my idea sucks, but that's.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Ideas aren't worth anything. You have to actually make something and then turn that into intellectual property. Just having the idea is not going to get you anything in IP.
But he's using the old, hey, I write a 120 page script. I FedEx it back to myself, and that adds the provenance, or whatever the fuck the date and the time. So they're trying to do the 2021 Gen Z version where you mint the NFT that proves that you created the shit.
Well, you have
they called that poor man's copyright, sending it to yourself. And NFT's better version of that. This guy's saying that copyright doesn't protect ideas, only the expression of ideas. That's true for copyright, But there are state law causes of action as opposed to federal law, where if you pitch an idea, then you can, and then they take it without paying you, you can bring it as an implied contract claim. And those have been pretty successful.
You know what else has
Love
been
it.
successful? I love it too. Who was that? Who said that?
Me, Hidden Forces.
Me. You know what else is you know what else has been successful? You know what else has been successful? You WIP fam. WIP fam, you've been successful. Thank you so much for coming through to this edition of the Athletes. Thank you for coming overall to the WIP. Shout out to the WIP crew. You already know the deal. I love each and every single one of you. Shout out to the leadership team at Token Smart. And shout out to the WIP fan for coming day in and day out all the time. Please keep your eyes and ears open on the weekly events channel for all things going on. And check out all the pull-ups and all the other cool shit. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of cool shit happening here later on. And come through in the 10. And much love. I'll see you all later.
Woohoo! We do have a lot more today. We have, let's see, about 1.5 hours till the cipher. And we pass the mic and drop some beats. And then shortly after that, into the Jack's Jazz, the best way to end your night. So I will see you all here later.